Captain, whenever you're ready.
Captain's log, stardate 5437 5.7. We've just been assigned to mediate a dispute that's arisen in the Tassus system. It seems the Trickleys on the 5th planet have declared a state of emergency since a open conflict has broken out on their world. It seems they've had several possible terrorist bombings in government facilities in their capital, and maybe even some in their factories. Their prime minister has also been a casualty of one of these attacks. They seem to have a pretty good relationship with the Federation. We have a trade agreement, and they have been floated as a possibility for membership soon. They've been extremely important in supplying us with material for reconstructing the Cardassian Union and all of the infrastructure that was destroyed in the Dominion War. Hopefully we can provide some humanitarian aid, and maybe we can even help to broker a peace on the planet in Captain's log.
Okay, as the captain's log has stated, the Tereshkova is currently en route for the Talos system, where the individuals have declared a state of emergency due to a recent terrorist bombing on the planet, where their prime minister Jolta has been seriously wounded. The Tereshkova is to extend humanitarian aid in this case, and assist them with whatever they need. But we'll start on the bridge for some free roleplay before you arrive into the system.
If you wouldn't mind, Commander Norton, I could probably use a write-up on the culture of the Dreichels.
Aye, sir, I'll get right on that.
Okay. We'll make this an actual task here. We'll go with reason plus con difficulty of 2. And what specifically information are you trying to gather up? And then also the ship's computers plus con will help you with that.
I'm trying to grab socio-political information, cultural information, that type of thing.
Okay.
You said computers con for the ship?
Yes.
Okay. Captain. Uh, Okay, Captain. According to my research, the Trachilians have the remains of a monarchy in their government structure. They still live in a class like system with several houses holding prominent positions within the government. While they do hold elections for the ruling civil bodies of their government, the ruling houses still have majority say in the policies. Though the houses normally follow what they believe the populace want in their given sectors, the key houses are broken into five, which have the most land holdings on the planet. House Uira, House Day One, House Kila, House Iaga, and House Ilum. While it would seem there are four classes to the Drusilian society, rather, it is the two, the Jewel and the Thal. The Jewel have three subclasses within it, making up 20% of the total population of the planet. The Thal, on the other hand, are considered to be the poorest, and in fact, many of the Jewel believed to be a subspecies that are often looked down upon. The Thal make up the other 80% of the population and often the working class within Drusilian society.
What is the power of the monarch compared to the houses?
I don't have that information, sir.
We'll have to make a point of figuring that out early. That way, I don't want to spend too much time dealing with a monarch when it's the nobles that are empowered, and I don't really want to spend too much time dealing with the nobles if the monarch has more power. Can you look up if we have any known way to contact any dissident groups, or if we even know about the dissident groups?
I'm getting some more information as the reports are coming in, as the results are coming in from my searches. There currently is no monarch, king or queen.
Is it been left open, or is there been a recent death?
The supreme civil leader, I guess, the top of the political food chain, would be Prime Minister Jortal.
I can see what may be a reason they haven't joined the Federation yet here.
Also, the five houses are considered to be former kingdoms as they push toward a one government society.
So in some way, the noble houses still might feel that they should be supreme. Like they may not entirely enjoy the current system.
You're asking for supposition that I just don't have grounds to make, sir.
Okay. Well, let's I think we can start by meeting with the planet's official diplomatic service and the prime minister, and then we can move from there. But I don't think we can rule out having to include less than recognized groups, especially if they represent 80% of the population.
I can see a logic in that, sir.
All right, we're gonna jump down to sickbay real quick. So, Lieutenant Wright, you were reviewing files regarding the species.
Yeah, trying to get a sense of their psychological profile, and also seeing if there's any medical issues that could come up as well. So mental health and also physiological health. Just so I have a baseline to work off of and see if there's anything weird that or unusual about this species that would make them stand out from others to keep in mind when if we have to treat people. And also probably studying to see the general state of the average species person. Like, for example, humans being especially curious, Andorians being especially connected, but somewhat militaristic. You know what I mean? See what the baselines are, so I know what people are supposed to be back to. So it's not, for like it's. I don't want to be treating, say, a Klingon and say, "Oh man, he's really aggressive." Like, no, that's normal. He's supposed to be like that. Like, don't fix that. You're not fixing anything.
I'm posting a new schedule with mandatory marksmanship training and escape and evasion courses for all medical personnel.
So you're gonna work on getting some drills in.
Yeah, I want people more prepared for the unexpected.
Oh, we have a new CMO.
This one likes guns.
Give me a. Let's make this presence, command, or medicine, or security. Maybe it's presence security. Depending on how you structure this training. Difficulty 2, and I'll count this as an advantage later on in case there's trouble and your teams need to get out if there's a firefight.
Well, I was going to request that the security department set up the actual courses because they're much better at this than me. But how do I roll on this thing?
Oh, okay. We'll get that away. So on your character sheet, you'll have your attributes and your disciplines. So you just select the presence and then security. The task roll will always be set to 2 unless you're assisting, then it goes to 1. Complication range will always be 1 unless I tell you otherwise. Now, depending on if you have a focus in play, you will click yes. In this case, I will take ground tactics as a focus.
You're just I have ground tactics and escape and avoidance, both of them.
So I will take one of those. So you'll click yes. The difficulty is 2. So in this case, is you can, since there is no momentum, you can buy extra dice using threat, or momentum if it is available. If the group pool has it.
No, I'm not gonna buy more dice for this nonsense. Okay.
And then all you do is you just hit the Starfleet symbol, and yeah, that's pretty much how it works in a nutshell.
Do I have any patients at the moment?
Currently, no. But your medical staff has been coming in and out saying, telling you like these are the supplies and whatnot. And
Okay, I'll be doing paperwork, requisitions, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Okay. But unfortunately, I'm going to take the first results on the roll. So unfortunately, don't have the advantage, but the security department of like we'll get on it. You know, kind of potentially
The
maybe.
schedule is tentative until they get back to me on when they
Yeah.
can do this.
Essentially.
Yeah, I'm better at this than most doctors, but not as good as the head of security.
Lieutenant Wright, was there any other additional information you're wanting to look up that I might have missed there?
Not in particular. Mainly, the information I got is pretty general. It doesn't they don't seem to have anything that sticks out. I suppose I would try to get basically just make sure my character's prepared in knowing what kind of culture they're like. But that's someone else has done that as well. And just reading and keeping brushed up on whatever illnesses that they may suffer, special here more often than others, that sort of thing. So I'm prepared in case anything rare that only they suffer from comes up, rather than something that only humans would suffer from or Vulcans. All right. Is their medical system able to support the injuries that they've had from their conflict, or do they need support? From what I understand, or they seem to be fine so far.
Are you going to make you roll for it, or do you want preliminary results?
I'll roll for it.
That's going to be a reason plus medicine difficulty 2. Assisted by these ship's computers plus medicine.
Counselor's office to the chief medical office.
Crick here.
Hi, I was just I was trying to read more into these reports to see what the medical readiness of the planet we're going to is. If I could bother you a moment, I would appreciate your thoughts on examination of the data, just so we can be a bit more. We can see how much of your staff and how much of my staff we need to actually use.
I'll start preparing a report right away, Captain.
Oh, this is the counselor, Doctor.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was mixed up the characters. Certainly, Counselor. I'll start that right away.
Yeah, I'll be sure to give you some of my notes as well, but you'll probably know more about this than I will. Cough, cough. I'm assisting you on the roll rather than being the main roller.
Okay, I'll recruit my lieutenant, and I'll go get my lieutenant and start on this report. So, what do I need to roll?
Reason medicine.
Reason medicine difficulty 2, assisted by these ship's computers plus medicine.
Would xenobiology apply?
Not in this case. This is more of looking up their medical facility to see if they're adequate.
Okay. How do I factor in assist by the computer?
They'll roll the ship's compute. Someone can roll on the ship what the.
Okay.
I got it. And the ship.
Then
And me.
you'll assist with that, right? So you just got it. So instead of typing this out real quick, I'll tell both of you. While they're trying to upkeep with what's going on, their medical facilities are overrun. They're requiring medical supplies as well as medical personnel.
Okay, I'll compile the report and send it on to the counselor and make up a list of equipment that we could give them. Like stuff we could take down to replace their medical technology without interfering with their culture. Stuff that's their technology.
Staying within the bounds of the Prime Directive sort of thing. It's like, we're helping you, but we're not giving you tech that you'd already have.
Precisely.
From the report, I'll probably start assembling or organizing who should go, who might need to go where based on the needs of the people down there, and then send that to approval to the CMO. Just so I know, that way we're kind of splitting up the work and covering more ground.
Okay. You lost command. You lost the first officer.
I know.
Unless there's a problem with the list, an obvious one that I spot, I'll approve it.
For the most part, there's really nothing wrong with the list.
And I'd probably add at the bottom of it, recommend briefing the captain if approved.
Okay. I mean, I assume Starfleet personnel on a Galaxy-class ship know what they're doing. I'll approve it and request a briefing with the captain.
By the way, what rank are you, Doctor? I don't have you on the list, so.
Lieutenant Commander.
Okay, yeah, you definitely outrank me. So that's why I'm being very... one, you're the CMO and you outrank me, so my character's being very careful to like, I can give suggestions, but I can't really demand anything. This is your department mainly. I just get my own office.
Yeah, and in his mind, you're already the ship's counselor, so you know the crew a lot better than he does. So unless there's some glaring reason not to follow your recommendations, then he'll follow.
Yeah. Yeah, Doctor, that isn't fighting me. Hooray. No.
I mean, they don't make you counselor on a Galaxy-class ship unless you know what you're doing.
You would think that.
Okay, Calum. Reason plus engineering difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's computers plus engineering, if you are able to.
Sorry, say it again.
It's
Talking to
for
the engineer.
the engineer.
Yeah,
Never
give
mind.
me just 1 second. You said reason engineering?
Yep.
Difficulty was what again?
2.
Okay. I'm guessing I don't have a focus.
No.
All right. Going ahead and take 1 threat.
The ship is just not helping you today, guys.
Nope, not today.
1 momentum gained.
I'll call engineering who request a low-level diagnostic on the sickbay computers.
Okay. All right. I will keep that information for if and when it is necessary. Actually,
Why don't you just hold on to it just a second here?
yeah.
Jump back to the bridge real quick.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So, Captain, I believe you were about to do something.
Yeah. Commander, can you set up a senior staff meeting?
Of course, sir. Unfortunately, the commander is not here right now. I believe he might have lost power since it happened in his area from time to time.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll set it up. Or you as him can set it up. But we can have one.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump time here real quick as senior staff has been assembled.
Well, we should be coming into the system soon, and I want all of us to be ready. It is a conflict zone, so we will be operating on a higher alert than normal. And I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Myself and the commander will head up most of the diplomatic efforts on the planet. There may be some requirement for you, Lieutenant, right? As for how best engineering and medical can help, I'm up to suggestions. Doctor, would you like to add anything?
Oh, we're ready down in sickbay, although I'd like permission to replicate some medical technology to replace their lost technology within the boundaries of the Prime Directive. In order to
I
get sufficient
guess,
quantities, I'll need to use the big replicators.
do we know if they have any prohibitions? Like, do they have warp travel?
I've researched their medical technology and only produced equipment that is within their current capabilities. Well, the plans for it. I haven't replicated anything yet, pending approval.
We've been sent here by the Admiralty, so I may lift some restrictions based on my prerogative. We might give them some more advanced than what they had, if necessary.
Of course, that is your prerogative, Captain. So, do I have permission to put in the request?
Yes.
Thank you.
And are your people ready for ground operations?
We haven't been able to get in the level of training I would like, but I would say yes.
We can take some personnel from tactical and temporarily put them in with security. I don't imagine we'll have too much need of the ship's phasers.
Unlikely, but if there are terrorists, we should have some security guards, I think.
I'll up your normal security.
Thank you, Captain.
The good thing is, Captain, that their culture seems to be very much human-like. A wide variety that is, I think most of the crew will be able to understand given their current cultural training. And the Tricklins do seem friendly as a culture in general, even to outsiders. So we're not going to have too much of a general pushback from outside assistance.
Captain, I did do a little bit of research into their technological, their current technological prowess.
I'll like sit down and point towards the screen in the room. Go ahead.
On screen, he literally just throws up like a couple graphs displaying the Federation technological level, where they should be at the moment, and basically go. They're kind of new to warp technology. Apparently, they've only gotten it within the past 20 years. But as you can see here, their technological advancement has increased very rapidly, mainly because of their trade agreements with the neighboring systems.
Under that, guys, Doctor, I think we can remove pretty much any restriction on assistant. Although you do have to be prepared to provide proper training for any advanced equipment you hand over. And any enhanced equipment that could be used as a weapon very easily without much conversion will have to be approved by me.
Aye, sir.
Continue, Ensign.
That's kind of the major point that I have, sir. There's not really much left to cover with it. Other than that, their technological ability appears to be way less than ours right now. So anything that they have can be easily repaired by our technology.
All right. I think we're mostly on the same page. Any significant considerations on your part, Lieutenant Wright?
At current, no. I have done some of the cultural studies, and there isn't any unique or anything that illness that we need to be particularly watchful for, as far as I can tell. But I would recommend that I come along with you during your negotiations to get it to assist you in their evaluating their responses and giving you some cultural updates as negotiations continue on. Also, before we embark, I might suggest that I have a meeting with the doctor here and prepare him and his staff for the high stress that will be probably put upon them, given that the people are the mission that we'll have to endure will require a lot of our resources, just sheer sweat equity will have to be put into this to make sure that we help as many people as we can.
Well, I think we've covered it here. You're all dismissed. I would finish up your preparations and try to get in a little rest before we get there. And then I'll stand up and leave the room.
Okay, I'll submit that request for the stuff to be replicated, plus any additional higher tech items I think will be absolutely necessary, and request that they be ready for transport in one of the cargo bays.
Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll for it because you've got plenty of time to gather all that stuff, or have it fabricated.
Yeah, Lieutenant Wright's intending to do a positive reinforcement session with the doctor, reviewing his file to him and reinforcing his readiness and capability in taking on such a monumental task, and showing and reminding him that he and his staff are well equipped for what's coming ahead.
Well,
That's a talent that I'm activating.
okay. He'll just, yes, sir. I mean, he's a combat veteran and experienced, so yeah. But he'll just, yes, sir, of course, sir. Yes, thank you, sir.
What do you have to roll
So-
for that?
I have to roll presence medicine with a difficulty of 3.
Okay.
And I am going to give you, spend a momentum and give you 2 threat for 2 dice.
Can I aid him on this?
I'd love the aid.
Unfortunately, not.
Aw. Thanks for trying, though.
Yeah. I mean, the worst could happen is he said no. Well, he did.
Yeah, true. Could I put this on a focus of stress disorder? Basically, I'm trying to ready him for what is inevitably going to be a high stress situation, and he's going to need to keep his head on straight, and he's going to be the guy on point.
You're the counselor, right?
Yep.
I'm not people. Okay. My character does have PTSD to an extent.
So yeah.
Obvious.
Okay, that might be a more that focus may apply more. It's like, by the way, just here's some tactics you could use in case anything flares up,
Yeah,
Okay.
he served with the ground unit during the Dominion War, so he's got some issues there.
So he's had an easy career, is what you're saying. God.
Yeah, that's why he has all that, ground combat and all that stuff.
Cool.
Sure.
Am I good with that focus?
As
like
long
to
as you role
Mhm.
play it out.
And I'm also going to apply the Starcross medal to this focus.
Okay, so you're doubling your focus range.
Yep. Or else, rather, it scores 2 successes if I hit that. Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
I see
yeah,
what you mean. Yeah.
you're doubles
I
your
misread it.
range. So yeah, if you're what medicine 4,
5.
5. So anything under 10 will net you an additional success.
So, Doctor, given your history and your experience, I don't think you need to be told the day to day, but I'll give you some pointers, I'll give you a pad with some data that will, in case anything happens to trigger you or otherwise upset you in a unique way, that you can apply immediately without having to draw on other staff. But reading your medical profile and your mental evaluations, you do have a rather strong mental psyche and you have a wealth of experience to draw on. Um, I believe with all confidence that you have the abilities and training to take on something like this. And I don't think that there's much fear I have to do, but I wanted to have this meeting to make sure that you're fine, to make sure that if you have any need or any special requirements, that I can write up certain things that you might need a counselor's write up for. But in general, I think you should be fine in this scenario.
I understand, Counselor. This is your duty, after all. Um, I should be fine. If I need anything, I'll contact you.
Very good. I will
I'll
also,
go over those techniques you mentioned in case they're needed.
when you look over the techniques, there's no like herbs or medicines or anything like that. It's a lot of exercise regimens, like do so many push-ups in this event, do so many sit-ups in this event, do so many jumping jacks, combined with like a lot of exercise regimens that are and breathing exercises. Like she's trying very hard not to, and then at the absolute bottom is if all that fails, take so many cc's of this, and then it says make sure to get make sure your heart rate's this, and so on. Like she goes through a lot of other weird techniques first before she gets to actual like pharmaceutical routes.
So pharmaceuticals, I can just hypo myself. Okay, I'll say thank you, Counselor. Was there anything else?
Well, and I'll roll to see if I do anything really dumb. Hey, I didn't.
Got it.
I actually got 2 more successes on
So
top of
2
that.
momentum gained.
The last thing I'll say to you, Doctor, is you know much about medicine as I do, and for all my training, you know yourself, and I trust you to take things into your own hands if you have to. Just if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. I'll jump in whenever. I'll drop everything if I have to.
I appreciate that, Counselor. Thank you for the meeting. Goodbye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, he's a bit like Miles O'Brien. He's friendly, but there's darkness under there.
Quick snapshot of half Andorian, half human, so none of the stalks, but has like the white hair, the blue skin, and has a prosthetic right hand that she lost about a year ago. And she's a fitness nut. Like most of the athletic programs aboard ship are her programs, like running teams and hockey teams and stuff like that for mental wellness.
So I probably get a lot of patience from those.
Yeah. With some recommendations from her, because she also has a specialty in sports medicine. It's like, okay, I try. This is more than a sprain. No, really, it is. I checked.
Although you can rest assured that at least half of those were the result of Caleb going a little too hard.
Is there any other things you'd like to do before you arrive in the system?
Nothing from me. Oh, I'll enter into the main computer, as in Discord, some of the stuff I learned. But I already said it in the meeting. I'm just putting it there so everyone else can see it. And Wright will probably spend a little time with the captain, just brushing him up on local culture, but nothing that's. It's more. Here's what I know. Here's what I learned, just so he knows what I know, which isn't a ton, to be honest.
Okay, we'll push to the next scene.
No, the momentum.
Go down one momentum.
No. Oh, and I'll post what the power I gave you there, Doctor, because I succeeded.
I'll say real quick that in the time that I had left, I'll have probably changed into my dress uniform because it might be helpful dealing with nobles.
Okay.
And make sure the medals are all, or the single medal is placed very appropriately, so I look fancy.
I'll follow the captain's lead since I intend to come along with him.
On screen.
On screen appears a slight, humanoid female. She's kind of dressed sort of, let's say, kind of upscale a little bit. Very formal wear, except a little bit kind of like I would see like in Europe during the Renaissance era, where people kind of dress a bit more formally and upscaled, based on their status. Um, uh, Federation vessel. This is Secretary Corvena. Are you here to offer aid as your Federation? Yeah, lots of frills, lots of colors.
Yes, we've arrived on a two-part mission. We are here to help repair any damage that may have been done, and we are also here to help you stem any more conflict that may occur.
That is wonderful to hear. I'm hoping you brought a excellent surgeon, because the Prime Minister life, he's gravely hurt. Our doctors are doing the best they can, but they're fearing the worst for him.
How many other casualties do you have?
We're still taking account, but the bombing was mainly isolated in our newly formed capital city, and it's quite extensive. The bombings hit several of our primary government facilities. Right now, we're in the estimate of tens of thousands of injured. We're trying to send the least wounded to other hospitals in the outskirt regions, but our primary hospital is definitely overrun.
We've also heard report of damage to factories and mining operations. Were there a lot of people hurt there?
Recovery teams are still trying to dig out the miners right now. I can't give you any more estimates than what I don't know.
We'll be in orbit shortly. If you would like to send us coordinates, we will send appropriate teams. And I would like to meet with you and other high officials on what progress can be made in stemming future violence.
Of course, thank you. We'll be forwarding those coordinates to you right away. And the screen cuts. Well, the view screen turns off as the communication is cut.
Is Caleb on the bridge?
Yeah, I put him on the bridge.
Okay. I'll walk over to Caleb and kind of speak under my breath just to Caleb. I want you to focus your efforts on helping recover the miners and the factory workers at those damaged locations.
I'll see what I can do, sir, but I might need a medical officer or two. We might have injured on site that need to be dealt with before uh, beaming them to the ship for care.
All right. I'll talk to the doctor.
Thanks, sir.
Counselor, I believe we have a meeting to attend.
Aye, sir. Given the state of their security, how armed do you think we should be, given we're in dress? I imagine type 1s only.
I think we'll probably be in a secure area. If you feel up to it, we might go without.
I've learned to be a little cautious. I'll refrain from the ceremonial ocean tour, and I'll just have the Type 1 on me in the event we need it for any emergency usage. But
Actually, it might come off better if you just had the ceremonial weapon. It might actually come off better.
Actually, yes, given their culture, it would make sense. Very well, sir. I'll forego the phaser, and I'll bring along my ocean tour. I'll be sure they're nice and shiny when we get down there. Well, it's shinier, I suppose.
Real quick before you continue, right? Give me insight plus. Let's make this medicine. Difficulty of 1.
Who?
Stress disorder, neuropsychology. I'm reaching, to be honest. Actually, more parapsychology, because it's closer to observing a person. But
Oh, okay, I see.
I'll take stress disorders in this
sure,
case.
I'll give you a threat for a die. Didn't need it.
I gain 2 momentum.
Free counselor question regarding this.
Okay.
how close to her breaking point does she look? Is she like one bad milkshake away, or does she need, or is it one traumatic, like someone trying to attack her sort of trauma? Like, how close to the brink is she? Or is it like, no, I'm on the brink, but it's just I need a whole day of bad stuff to happen before I really start losing it. I don't know why I thought of one bag milkshake, but there we go. Pardon me. So yeah, when Wright meets up with you, Captain, her weapons are fairly shiny. She has them she has it open on her hip, sort of thing. It has some nicks in it because it's a Bush and Tor that's seen use, because she's used it in her career frequently, especially recently, as you know. But yeah. Well, Captain, I can give you some of my preliminary analysis of the person we spoke with.
Could be most useful.
From what little I could gather and some of the mild sensor data I was able to get from the transmission and analytics of it, she does seem rather stressed out, concerned what's going on, which makes sense given the scenario. She is approaching a brink point, a sense of being overwhelmed by the circumstances. However, in my estimation, she does seem to be handling it well in however mean she is. However, how long she can withstand that level of strain is unclear. I'd need more time to observe and more time to get a sense of how she's coping. But for now, she does seem to be stable. I have seen leaders in other situations be put on a brave face for Starfleet captains, and then when things went sideways, they became next to useless.
We might need to make an effort to insulate her from other more powerful members of the government who might smell blood in the water.
Some insulation perhaps may be needed, but we have to be careful not to do it too much, because then there's a sort of sense of loss of control, and that can induce a new stressor, a sense of helplessness and an inability to assist, especially in command officers or leaders tend to like to be able to pitch in. But if we can make sure she's still being helpful while minimizing her strain, I think that might be the best course if we can somehow influence that.
Sounds good. In fact, I'm headed to the med bay right now to talk to the doctor about something very similar.
Have you dealt with such cultures like this before, sir? Semi-monarchical systems, I mean.
I once had a 3-day, we'll call it an excursion, with another midshipman on Beta Z. Does that count? Although I can say we were not entirely interested in politics at the time.
Understandable, sir. Well, all I can suggest from my studies of it is everyone likes to feel like they're in their place, and they like their little alcoves of power. Even in new democratic systems, monarchical systems tend to follow that paradigm. And if they're anything like humans, they'll tend to follow that psychological profile lean as well. Though I can't guarantee it, of course. Every culture is different. Every species is different in how they respond to certain things. But there are certain tendencies cultures tend to follow.
As we walk into the sick bay, I will be looking around for the CMO.
Okay, I'm around someplace, walking around in my office. I'm not hard to find.
As before we walk, so I kind of see two doors in between the CMO's office and the hallway there. When we're in the second set of doors, so it's kind of just the room with just me and the lieutenant, I'll stop and look at the lieutenant. I have a very particular request of the doctor, and at this stage, I will allow you to be party to this conversation, but it's one of those where this is your chance to jump off and not be a part of it.
Uh-huh. Does this affect our ability to contribute to the health or well-being of any of our patients?
It's a balancing act of those interests.
I probably should be present. I have a certain professional ethic I should maintain.
And I'll walk in the room. Doctor, I don't think we've had a lot of time to meet, but I had a question I wanted to stop by and talk to you about.
You're the captain, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. How can I help you?
It seems to me there's a couple of different situations, a couple of different fires you're going to have to put out on the surface. We got a very high-ranking leader present who is in need of urgent care. We have a city full of very high-ranking and important casualties, and then we have a lot of miners and factory workers that might also be injured. I'm going to ask that you take you and your best team and you do everything you can for those miners and factory workers. And you send other teams to the capital.
How critical is this official?
We don't have a lot of details, but it can't be worse than someone who's been in a mine collapse. So this is not me sending you to apply band-aids while someone is in cardiac arrest.
I
This
understand,
is
sir.
me
But if this person is in such critical condition, I would recommend we beam them directly to sickbay and treat them here.
That's up to you how and where they're treated. It's the placement of your personnel and your priorities over your personnel that I'm more interested in.
Very well, Captain. So we'll beam that person directly to sickbay, and I'll go down with the away team to treat the miners as you ordered. Is that sufficient?
Yes.
Aye, sir.
And as I go to walk away, I'll turn back around again. And it's going to help stem a lot of violence if you can save lives in those mines.
I believe that all patients deserve the best treatment, and none are more important than others, Captain. I'll do everything I can for them.
Thank you, Doctor.
Lieutenant Wright will nod approvingly at the doctor, like, "Yeah, I like that answer." Before she follows after the captain.
After we've left the office. I'm thinking if we put our assets into helping those in the capital, if we put our best assets there, we might create a situation in which they have suffered harm and they might feel like the need to retaliate. But I'm more afraid of how the 80% of the population will feel if too many people die in those mines or factories. I'm less worried about reprisals than revolution.
Yeah, and if we start to be seen as allied with the monarchy or tools of them, we might become legitimate target for the terrorists.
The door's not nearly as thick as you think it is, Captain.
Maybe that was intentional.
But you must remember, Captain, that our duties given to us by Starfleet Medical holds the factor of triage. The greatest harmed get the first assistance, despite all else. Myself and the doctor have to be cautious in any appearance of political or sometimes even security matters when it comes to who gets treated first. But the doctor has seen some things, and he will act in his best conscience.
That's fine, and I understand y'all's point on triage. I'm just factoring in damage that is to be done, not just damage that has been done.
Understood, sir. There's nothing suspect in what you did. You were acting as a captain should. We are just simply responding as medical officers are expected to. She smiles at that. Like, it's not a reproach, it's more of a, yeah, that's just how it is.
And I guess we'll head towards the transporters.
So you and Ryder beaming down first, correct?
I think we're the most ready to beam down.
Okay.
No, I'm probably taller than he is now.
You enter the transporter room.
Good morning, Lieutenant. If you would please place us on the surface.
Of course, Captain. We've received the coordinates. Believe it's some building within the capital city.
Very well. Energize.
You don't need it. I'll give it to you.
But we could generate momentum.
You have 3.
We
Yeah,
could have
because
6.
this is probably only a difficulty 2, because I assume they probably have a little bit of transporter technology, so...
You assume a lot.
Actually, this is a difficulty 3.
Oh, they don't?
Nope.
I mean, we'd probably still get momentum with Lev on at difficulty 3, but...
So, it's control engineering difficulty 3 assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
See, if we bully the GM enough.
So this is also how you get Borg cubes.
It's true. That's how you get threat.
Oh, well, you could already have one of those.
It's true.
And she has cautious engineering, so...
Oh, you got her.
Bold... not bold. 1 momentum for cautious.
Get the momentum back.
For the ship.
Ship.
Come on, complication.
And there's all the correct expertises, so if you get a 0, reroll.
2 momentum gained. So you get total 4 momentum. So you beam down to the surface of the planet. You're actually not beam down to some street, but you find yourself in sort of in a lobby, kind of very showboating. Fountain, it's marble floor, statues. And you see the woman earlier comes like, oh, it's Captain, right?
Yes, Captain Elder. And you are?
I'm Secretary Corvina.
Yes. We have a meeting.
Of course. Apologies for the location. This is not normally where we hold diplomatic meetings, but this will have to do for now. If you follow me, and shows as you walk through, it's pretty. Everything looks very clean and well kept. Statues of various generals or maybe politicians to an extent. Shows you open, and then a couple people they open the doors that are dressed very formally in military attire. There's a small there's a desk and a few chairs. Like, please have a seat.
I'll take a seat.
Very lovely building you have here. Love the artwork, she says as she takes a seat.
Thank you. I apologize. It's been a very hectic 24 hours. Are you sending down medical staff to the hospital soon?
Yes. Our doctor is preparing, and he is about to start deploying his personnel.
I I see. We can use all the help we can get. Many of our heads of state were deeply injured. Several ambassadors and from the various kingdoms were hurt, and believe the lions were quite upset to hear the news of their representative was killed in the attack.
If you don't mind me asking, do you have any idea who might have done such a thing?
She kind of pauses and sighs a little bit for a moment. We didn't think much of them other than just. But there's a radical group called the Azure Sky. They've been painting graffiti all over the capital and some of the provinces. We thought nothing of them, and even some of the ones that we caught, they were dealt with. But we never thought they could go to this extreme or this.
Do they have an agenda?
It's unclear. We honestly know very little about it, and no one has claimed responsibility for this terrorist attack.
Well, I would like to speak with you and some members of the other noble families and see if we can agree on a strategy to this in order to stabilize the capital so that our aid to you is most effective.
We'll also need to discuss the systems by which you release your aid, so we know who to talk to in your system, bureaucratically speaking, so we can save everyone from any confusion.
Well, there is some slight problems with that. Um, the heads of the families of the five houses are currently at their residence in their respected homes in their kingdoms. As for the representative, most of them have been severely injured. Um, Many of the parliament government was hurt. I was lucky to survive this horrendous attack. For the most part, I have declared martial law in the capital until we can get a sense of order back.
I think we might have a more effective response if you could recall the heads of the five families. And he kind of really leans into that, saying that.
Or indeed, if they're too injured, their appropriate deputy. In fact, Captain, with your permission, if they required a unified space they feel easier to talk to in, we do have facilities aboard the ship.
That could be effective.
The heads of the family rarely step outside of the grounds, let alone come to the capital here. They particularly stay at their residence and they send representatives in their stead. That is how we've done things for the past 20 years since the end of our. How should I put this? 100-year war. It's the way we've kept the peace. Bringing them together might cause another outbreak.
I believe, and Captain, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe what the captain is attempting to do is speed the process of our aid as much as possible with with the various heads of the houses together, and us being able to coordinate with them. They will know exactly what we're doing, and they'll be able to more quickly, as masters of their domains, able to communicate to us what they need. Um, Something that maybe perhaps a intermediary might not be able to know or have access to. Um, Given the amount of medical strain your populace have suffered, we wish to effect as much aid as quickly as possible.
Of course, what I can tell you, um, most of the damage done has been here at the capital, which requires the most aid. Um, I have been given full permissions, and considering I'm running the parliament currently with a few select, we've all come to agreement to accept aid from the Federation during this tragedy time. I will have to ask for representatives from the others to see if they wish to join in a meeting or if they wish to send representation. It will take some time, but in the meantime, we need the greatest help here. And if you feel like you could do some help within the investigation, by all means, you can assist our military with that aid as well.
Yes, if you could turn over all the relevant information on the insurgency, we might be able to help with them.
Of course, I will gather that information from our intelligence bureau.
Well, Captain. Oh, actually, is there any aid we can give you personally? I understand that you must be under a lot of uh, pressure given your current position, and we wanted to make sure that you're able to do your job as effectively as possible, so we can give you effective aid.
I appreciate the offer, but I'll be fine. Several other members of the parliament are helping me out, though it would be a great sign of relief for our world if our prime minister um, were were to survive this horrific tragedy. He's been a beacon of hope for many in the kingdoms.
We'll do what we can.
Hmm. Believe me, our medical staff is quite skilled. We will do everything we can.
Your aid is much appreciated. If you don't mind, I will um, start inquiring about the representatives and try to get them here as soon as possible. It might take several hours. In the meantime, you're welcome to stay here in this office, used as a place for coordination. I caution you if you decide to explore. Several of our buildings are damaged in the explosion and can be hazardous.
While you attend to the transfer of information to our ship and the coordination of the nobles, I think me and the lieutenant here have some coordination to do on the Tereshkova.
Of course, I'll leave it to you. As I said, this office is free to be used by whatever means you need. She kind of gives a slight bow as she exits the room, and then the doors just kind of close.
I think we have we can use this time to meet with other dignitaries.
Who did you have in mind, sir?
I don't yet, and that's the problem. They may be difficult to find.
Well, as they say, meeting with their security or intelligence agents may give us some insights into this so-called organization. Whether they are the actual threat or if it may be a different threat that they're facing. Since if they don't know who caused it, I'm not so sure we can or they can guarantee the safety of our staff.
Well, let's go see if we can find who we need to find. Although I think it might be more appropriate to return to the ship and change out our equipment for such a meeting.
Very good, sir.
Olo de Tereshkova 2 to beam up. I guess if we're sticking with us, then I'm going to start working on sifting through the data they send us, trying to see if we can find a place or people that we can meet.
Okay. You want to do that, but we're gonna cut to the doctor. So, doctor, been given permission to send medical teams and supplies down to the surface of the planet.
Okay, I've been getting the teams ready, getting them all the equipment they need, and I also requested 3 security officers per team from tactical.
Okay.
And then I'll signal the XO that we're ready to go when he is. And do we have permission to beam the patient up to sickbay?
I am spending 2 threat. Um, Currently, the local officials are not allowing Jotals to beam up to the Tereshkova because they typically are unaware of this technology and they have speculations about it. They're also don't feel like he's in the condition to be moved, considering he is currently on life support.
Transporting is really the safest form of transportation there is. Okay, I'll allot a team to where he is.
I wish Dr. Blackwell was watching because you're the exact opposite. Dr. Blackwell prefers to take a shuttle down and feels like transporters are a
Superstition. Anyway, I'll start beaming everybody down.
All right. Are you wanting to have a medical team for you?
Yeah, I'll have a couple of nurses and 3 security guards if it was all.
So mechanically speaking, you can spend a momentum to essentially have a medical team with you, which will act as an advantage for you, help lower the difficulty for any task or other means that you can think of, such as if it was an extended task, you could lower the resistance, difficulty.
Okay, I'll spend 1 to lower difficulty.
Okay, so you're gonna have a medical team with you.
You wanted to bring a security team with you too, didn't you?
Yes.
That will be 1 momentum, and it'll give me 1 threat for that.
How much momentum do we currently have?
3 right now. You could have another one. You could have another team. It's better that you have the extra safety than because that also will help you if you get into a shootout.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring 1 down. I think it's worthwhile considering the situation.
Mm-hmm. Plus, we had quite a bit. We had like 4 momentum before you spent some of it, so we were good. We still have 2 left.
Okay, I'll beam down with my teams and start triaging and treating people.
Give me a. It's gonna be control plus engineering. Difficulty of 3, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
For whoever's rolling for the chief of engineering, cough cough. No, I got the ship if someone wants to roll leva.
Coming up as soon as I open up her character sheet.
Whoops, deleted her. No. There shall only be one engineer. No.
Control, engineering. She has a transporter's focus. And it's diff 3? 4?
Diff 3.
Spend 1 momentum.
One momentum gone. I said 1 gone. There. Good golly. Miss
Now
Molly.
the ship helps.
3 momentum gained. So yes, doctor, you and your medical team and the security officers that beam down with you find yourself inside a location that's in a hospital that was kind of stationed out or kind of zoned out a little bit, so there was enough room for the transport. But you can see it's extremely busy. The floor where you're at. You see people lying in um, essentially beds, some stretchers. People are on the floor. There's seems to be a few just kind of standing in the hallways in gowns, just standing there. And then doctors and nurses, running rapidly through the corridors of the hospital.
Okay, I will immediately act like I'm in charge and start giving orders. Start triaging people. You do this, you do that, you treat this patient. With no regard for any kind of class or politics or anything.
You start doing that. Some of them look kind of weird, like, wait, who's this guy? And they're like, oh, right. And then you see a person like walking up and, excuse me, are you the aide from the Federation?
I'm Lieutenant Commander Crick, Chief Medical Officer on the Tereshkova.
Right. Oh, sorry. Dr. Ansel. Sorry, it's been a long day. Um, what's your specialty?
Emergency medicine and field trauma.
He just kind of nods. Maybe you can help out with the minister's condition. One of our scanning equipment has malfunctioned, and we're having trouble diagnosing the minister's condition. We have him on life support. We removed a lot of the shrapnel on his body, but he seems to be not responsive. There seems to be damage in the other parts of his physique, and frankly, we're at a loss. I wonder if you have more sensitive instruments that could detect the problem.
Are there any patients that are in immediate danger, like brain hemorrhages or other life-threatening conditions?
Honestly, it's the minister who's in the most condition. If we take him off
Okay,
life support, he'll die.
I'll deploy all the other teams and go check him out, see if he's in immediate danger. Triage him.
Okay. And you follow the doctor as he's taking up a floor, and roll me insight medicine difficulty of 2.
Okay, I'm going to buy an extra D20 with threat.
Okay.
How do I reflect that?
With that is I just take a threat token to signify that you're giving me threat to gain an extra dice.
Okay,
So
how do I put an extra dice in here?
So since you're buying one extra dice, you will go and click on where it says the task roller at on 3. Gain a momentum out of it. You find it strange, but You notice that there on some of the individuals as you're walking by that are in the hallways, who don't look really particular injured, but you notice some like tattooing on them. And others you don't see that as much.
Do I think that tattooing is relevant to this minister's condition, or just a social thing?
It looks like it's a social thing.
Well, I don't care about that. What do I get on this guy? Why is he not
Right.
responding to their treatment?
So the doctor shows you into a private room. There's a couple security guards that kind of stop you, and the doctor who's been escorting you kind of motions like he's fine. They kind of look over you, make sure you're not heavily armed or whatnot, or a threat to the minister. They show you in the room, and he's kind of got like his own big private operating room to himself. There are several other doctors and nurses kind of checking over his status, but give me a reason plus medicine difficulty 3 as you approach him to kind of go do a scan on with your tricorder. Do you have your medical team with you that you brought down?
No, I left them back in the hospital to treat those patients.
Okay.
I'll spend that momentum I just got.
Positive reinforcement will lower that difficulty down to 2.
And I have a personal advantage I can use?
Yeah, that's the positive reinforcement, the personal advantage.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend a momentum to get an extra die.
Okay. Gain 2 momentum. I will be sending you the information over Discord that your tricorder picks up.
This man needs immediate surgery. I would recommend that we do it on the Tereshkova. Our facilities are better than yours.
Forgive me, but he can't be moved. He's on life support. How would we get him to your ship?
We have technologies that make it possible. I'm afraid I can't get into any more detail than that.
I'm sorry, unless I know the details of that, I cannot allow this patient to be moved. What sort of surgery does he require?
Out of character, how big is this bed he's in, this life support system?
It's kind of a standard. Like you can tell, like looking at it, I should have probably put that on the notes that he's actually probably looks like he's had other surgeries, but the machine that he's hooked into is rather large and clunky, and it's off to the side of the bed. Think more like it's essentially modern day hospital. Essentially, is what everything looks like.
Is it small enough that we could beam the whole wad to sickbay, him and the bed? And whatever equipment they're using for life support.
Yes and no. Unfortunately, though, the machine is built into, or well, it's getting power from the actual hospital room. If the hospital power will go out, there is perceivably maybe potentially a backup, but
does this device have a backup power source?
only for a few minutes until the backup generators kick on.
A few minutes is all that would be needed. I could do surgery here, but he would have a better chance on the Tereshkova.
But how would we get him to your shuttle in fast enough time to get him up into your ship in orbit?
That won't be necessary. We have technology that can take us directly to our sickbay.
How is that possible? I mean,
I, even if I was allowed to explain it to you, I really couldn't. I'm not an engineer.
I'm sorry. I mean, no offense. I barely know you. I'm sure you are quite qualified in your ship's equipment. Is maybe far advanced than anything we have down here, but this man's life is in my hands. He's if anything were to happen during the
Very
transport,
well.
I will be held responsible.
Prep for immediate thoracic surgery.
Of course. And he goes over to the nurse and goes, what sort of surgery are we doing?
He's got shrapnel in his heart and lungs. It needs to come out immediately.
Oh dear, I see. I don't know how we missed that. Um, so my question is the GM: Are you you're removing the shrapnel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, growing a replacement for a non-Federation species, it's too risky and it'd take too long.
All right, you're going to be looking at an extended task here. So this is going to be control plus medicine. Base difficulty is 4, work 20, which means you have to do 20 work total in order to complete the task. But you magnitude is 4, resistance of 3. Considering you're working with some of your own equipment as well as the equipment here in the hospital. The magnitude reflects.
I don't take any penalty for not having proper equipment.
Right. But that was the resistance, so it's increased difficulty, I believe, for your talent. So.
When attempting a medical task, you may ignore any increase in difficulty for working without proper tools or equipment.
Right. That doesn't reflect the resistance.
Okay.
So
just make a task roll.
Hold on, real quick. So the difficulty is 4. It's going to be reduced down to 3 because of your current personal advantage. But yes, give me it's control medicine difficulty of 3.
Okay, I'll have to use a momentum, and I'll buy another die with threat.
Okay, so when you go past 1, if you're going to go do 4 dice, it's 3, either 3 momentum or 3 threat, or a mix between the two.
Okay, this is an extended task, right? I don't have to do this in one shot.
Right, this is an extended task. You don't have to do it in one shot, but each time. So the goal is, and I'll explain this as you go through the process because it'll be a little bit easier. If you're wanting to go up to 4 dice, it'll cost you 2 momentum and a threat, or 2 threat and a momentum.
I'll stay at 3.
A point of clarification: you can do the work track across multiple tasks, but the getting 4 successes or the getting 3 successes, you have to do that in one go.
Right. Now, the one other thing I'm going to keep you in mind, this particular extended task is going to be what's called a timed task. You're going to have a total of 8 intervals. Each time you do a task, or essentially a part of the work, it's going to cost you 2 intervals.
Okay, can I get an assist from this doctor?
I will say he will give you an advantage, and the advantage will reduce the resistance down by to 2.
Okay.
The reason why is I don't have a sheet for him. So.
Okay, there's the first roll.
And you spent the momentum and not the threat?
Yes.
All right. You succeeded, no momentum gained, but roll for me 7 challenge dice. So what you're gonna do on your sheet for this particular cast, you see where below the task roller,
Yeah.
where the zero's at, you want to hit 7 and then make sure you hit enter. Otherwise, it doesn't take, and then hit the Starfleet symbol next to the challenge dice. Currently, you are doing 2 work. One work. You can spend a momentum to re-roll 4 of the dice.
How much do we have now?
Currently,
6.
no, you're at 5. He spent the momentum and didn't give me the threat.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I'll
bad.
definitely do that.
And just the same thing, you just put 4 in the challenge dice roller. Make sure you hit enter because the sheet's funny like that. You're currently doing 4 work. You can spend 1 momentum for piercing, which you'll be doing 6 work, which will give you a breakthrough.
I'll do that. We got lots of momentum.
Since you got a breakthrough, the difficulty now goes down to lowers by 1. So each time you get a breakthrough during an extended task, it lowers the difficulty for the next part of the task. You currently have 6 intervals left. You've used 2. To continue the task, it's going to be the same roll as a control plus medicine. Difficulty is 2. You spent a momentum.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 more, then I'll stop.
Okay, so I'm just asking because you rolled 3. So were you spending a momentum or you were giving me threat?
I'll give you thread.
Okay, so you have 4 total momentum. Roll 7 challenge dice. Currently, you're doing 3 work. You can spend a momentum to do piercing, which will bring it up to 5, which a total of 11 work done on the work track, and that will get you another breakthrough.
Okay, I'll do that. This guy seems pretty important. So how much more do I have left until I've finished?
Currently, you have 9 more work to do on the work track. You have 4 intervals left. You've used 4. It is now down to a difficulty of 1. However, I'm going to spend some threat here. The patient has taken, it kind of goes into a little bit of cardiac arrest as you're operating. Well, not cardiac arrest because we've shut the heart off. The machine's not pumping properly and it's causing distress on his system. The difficulty is gone up to 3.
Okay, well, if necessary, I'll massage the heart manually.
Well, no, you've. I would imagine you would have kind of stopped the heart to pull the actual shrapnel out of the heart. It's the actual machine itself that's causing some complications on his system. That's making it your job a little bit harder.
Fix that thing and keep working.
Yes. It's control medicine difficulty of 3.
So I got 2.
Since this is your first time, though, were you wanting to buy extra dice on that roll or not?
I'll buy one with threat, I guess. I get a reroll if I do that, so.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Say 1.
I'm going to use my reroll that the counselor gave me.
So keep in mind, I was gonna take the first result, and if you just rolled one for me, one extra um, on the task roller. There, okay, that's what I want to see. So you're currently at 3 successes, which you got it. Roll 7 challenge dice. Currently, you're doing 4 work. You can spend a momentum for piercing, or you can spend it for extra work. If you spend it for piercing, that will put you up to a total of 17 work.
How much work do I get with extra work?
You only get 1.
1 per momentum spent.
And how much do we have?
3.
3.
I'll spend 1, so that's some of it. 16 now,
Well,
with 3 shots left.
no, you would only have, so after this task roll, you only have 1 more shot left to complete the task. But this would only, you're only doing currently 3 total work. You would need 2 more work in order to get a breakthrough.
I mean, until this task is successfully completed.
If you do 1 more work, you'll need 4 more. Currently, you're at, let us stand now, you need 5 more work to complete the actual work track. So you would have to try to get 2 breakthroughs to complete the extended task, or your patient will die.
Okay, I'll use a momentum for another breakthrough.
Or for a. So what I'm gonna say is, like, you could just spend the 1 for piercing. That would give you the 2 work, enough to get the breakthrough, and that would save you a spending 2 momentum instead to get 2 work.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Difficulty is now 0 as they fix the machine. You're currently at 2 momentum though, because you were at 3. You need 1 more breakthrough, and or 3 work to complete the task. It is control plus medicine, difficulty of 0. Were you giving me a threat or spending momentum for the extra dice?
Threat. Okay. And I'm going to re-roll that failed one.
All right. But you gain 3 momentum, so you'd be a total of 5. Roll 7 challenge dice for me.
Yeah, that's a good roll.
That is 6 work being done. That actually puts you over the work track, which would actually give you technically 2 breakthroughs since you completed the work track, as well as got above 5 work. But that will complete the work track as you removed all the shrapnel from the Prime Minister's body and have closed him up. It'll be a little bit before he's removed from life support as his heart recovers, but he should make a full recovery given some time.
No, I have good news. The surgery was a success. So he'll have to be monitored for a while, but he should make a full recovery.
Oh, thank God. Quite skilled. Could definitely use your expertise down here.
That's what I'm here for. So I'll leave you to close and get back to the ward.
Of course, Doctor. I'll have my nurse escort you around and get you whatever you need.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Begin wandering around and start treating other patients within the hospital. I'm not gonna make you roll for any of it, but most of a lot of it's cuts, abrasions. It seemed like the prime minister took the brunt of it, while others were somewhat close proximity. Some have, you can tell that some of them have passed several hours ago. They were kind of out of your, hands before you arrived. But other than that, it seems fairly routine for triage work.
Okay, I'll just work steadily, go from patient to patient, and continue doing that.
All right, we're gonna jump back to the Tereshkova.
Oh, Chief, Dr. Crick to the captain.
Captain here.
I've completed successful surgery on the minister. He should make a full recovery.
Understood.
So, Captain, Lieutenant Wright, I'm assuming you're in your ready room looking up information.
Yeah.
I just thought the captain would want to know something like that.
Yeah, definitely a thing to update him on for sure. It's like, yeah, I never got around to him. I think he's okay. Something about life support, But yeah, no, I think me and the captain was looking into looking over the intelligence data, I think it was.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit added there. It's most of it's just been graffiti that they've done arrest for, and most of them involve shouted, Azure Sky, Azure Sky, when they're being arrested.
Is there any reference in our cultural database about the species about what Azure Sky might apply to? If it's it has some sort of if it's referencing a particular person or a holiday or historical event?
Nope.
Oh, so Captain, it just seems like they're randomly shouting two words with no real attachment. That's strange. Usually, such things have some meaning to them. I can't imagine graffiti artists moving up into widespread bombings.
We definitely are missing something here.
The graffiti markings are 3 blue lines with a blue handprint underneath them. The blue lines are kind of like in an arch. They kind of go.
Check the symbol for any historical, cultural relevance, or if it's just a brand new symbol that this group made up.
There's nothing in the cultural reference file.
Well, points for creativity, at least.
I guess we'll switch to looking over the data of the actual bombings.
They're currently still investigating it. They don't really have a particular lead, but what you do know from the bombings, at least on the current police report, the bomber was apparently a suicide bomber. They didn't get the individual name as from it, but he wore some sort of device on his like on a vest jacket, and the explosion was rather close to the prime minister and several key cabinet members.
Hmm.
Can we look over? Did they take any scans?
There's no indication that they took scans, but they're collecting data and sending it to a lab, like fragments and
Think
stuff.
think we'll have to do a manual investigation.
Hmm. Yeah. Both scanning the site itself and also possibly interviewing some of these members personally and trying to get some more information than what's here. They might just not have the technological or investigative know-how to get the information that we're looking for.
Okay. Well, let's grab a science officer and go back down.
Okay, so you're gonna beam back down to the essentially directly at the bomb site.
Yeah, but this time I'm going to be wearing normal uniform and I'm gonna take a Type 3 with me.
Holy heck.
You're gonna take a Type 3?
You said there were security concerns, and now we're like out in the middle of nowhere with no real security support, so yes.
Perhaps bring along a security detail as well to ensure your safety.
That will
That's what
be.
the Type 3 is for, Lieutenant.
That's 2 threat and a momentum.
Yeah.
Permission to equip myself with a Type 2 phaser?
Granted.
Thank you, sir.
Who else is beaming down with you?
We can take Caleb if Caleb doesn't have anything else to do, but if Caleb does have something else to do, then we can take.
Currently,
Well, plus Kalen will have some insights on the bombing as well, given his history. It's not like they'll join resistance and have to do a bombing or two to get things done.
Well, if Kalen can help somewhere else out on the planet, we can take a science officer because I have a engineering of 4. So it's science that I'm more worried about, I guess. I don't have a high science, I only have a science of 2.
Yeah, mine's 3, but I'm not a scanning person. I'm a examining people person.
I would
I'm
say
good
you
at helping people.
probably want to use Calum in this instance. I mean, he might know some insights on.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go down.
We could actually bring down a science team advantage. That way it brings down the science rolls for us if we have to do them. Because it only costs us a momentum.
Yeah.
Or do that and bring a crew support down.
I think we can bring down. Lieutenant Gorson.
Gorson. Oh, there you are. Well, that guy. He didn't open it. Huh?
Okay. Are you bringing any other special equipment down with you?
Caleb, you want anything?
I can't think of anything that I need.
Okay, then I guess no.
The four of you beam down, back down to the surface of the planet. Unlike the glamorous building that you were in before, this one is definitely looks. You stand in sort of a clearing, but there's a lot of rubble, various stoneworks, remnants of statues that are half blown off. You see several workers trying to clear some of the rubble, looking for potentially any survivors. A lot of them just essentially damage control and search and rescue operations. And a man dressed in sort of definitely like a black uniform of some sort appears to probably be one of the local military person comes up to. He's like, "How did you get here? Who are you? State your identification."
I'm Captain John Elder of the USS Tereshkova. We're here rendering assistance. You might need to talk with a higher authority to confirm that.
One moment, and he pulls out appears to be a hat of some sort, and holds it up to his ear, begins talking on it. Uh-huh. Just nodding his head. Close it, and puts the pad away. Very well. You're supposedly here to help. By all means, if you require any assistance from us, let us know.
I nod to him, and then I'll start looking around.
Someone give me insight plus engineering or security difficulty 2.
Okay. Engineering.
Yes, difficulty 2.
Okay. Deep, 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 deep. I'm gonna go on ahead and give you a threat. I don't think I have a focus for this.
You know what? Let's make it difficulty 3. Or no, sorry. We'll up the complication range to 3. Difficulty is still 2. Yeah, you don't really have a focus. So yes, 2 momentum gained. There's a location just kind of up ahead from where you're at. Looks to be the remains of some sort of hall or a meeting center. You see like what remains of chairs and stuff like that as you're walking through the rubble. And you notice the blast marks from where you think the explosion might have happened.
Okay, so I'm going to kneel down in that location and try and examine that blast mark more closely, trying to figure out what might have caused it, that type of deal.
Give me reason plus engineering or science, difficulty of 2. And because there's so much rubble, let's make it a complication range of 3.
Well, going ahead and take another threat then.
Anyone can assist. That's there.
That's right. Can I argue because I'm a Bajoran and probably have experience in this to lower the difficulty by 1?
No.
Oh, okay.
What am I assisting on?
Essentially, you're just looking through the rubble, and Caleb pointed out a potential epicenter site.
What's the role?
It is reason plus engineering. The difficulty is 2. Complication range is 3.
Okay, why is that not working right for me? Give me a minute. Okay, everything's running slow for me. I'm gonna roll. Yeah, I'm gonna roll in the Tereshkova chat. Or never
Well,
mind, it just finished.
I'll take the first results. You have currently 3 floating momentum. I'll post this in the Discord.
I didn't type it out. I made like 3 different rolls by accident.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was lagging on me. 3 floating momentum. Let me get my info first.
It's posted in Discord chat.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Captain. This appears to be the center of the explosion. From the burn marks on the ground and everything here, I'd say it was a Sorium Argine device. Similar to the humanoid atomic explosion.
Read that. I might have. The bomb fragments
Oh,
have a unique radiation signature.
right. So I think that would be gamma radiation. I think
More like beta.
beta. Okay. So yeah, basically I'll tell the captain all that stuff.
Can I look up on my tricorder real quick? I guess by linking to the ship's computer to find out if this planet has large Sorium or Argine manufacturing. Like, is this something that is plausible they could get their hands on the planet without outside interference?
So part of the floating momentum.
Can we look up who is known to use those kinds of devices commonly?
Presumably. Oh, fun.
Keep in mind, there's also bomb fragments that have a unique radiation signature to them too.
Well, I will go on ahead and capture that scan of the radiation signature for myself and start scanning the area, excluding the location I'm in, trying to find other uh, instances of it.
You search around and you find other parts of that radiation signature, and it appears just to be fragments, more fragments within the actual bomb site. Most likely, the device itself exploded, and um, these fragments may be the actual device parts of the device itself. Um,
Okay, there's not even minute traces that are just like moving.
right. It's
Okay. I was trying to get a lead on who our bomber might be.
your bomber was, from the reports, was at the epicenter.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a suicide bomb. So
So there'll be no DNA traces, evidence linking it. Okay.
Um, I'll link up with the ship again and try to pull reports from various Starfleet outposts in the area and see if we have any known Ferengi or Orions who trade in these devices that have been in the area recently. Even if they, like, obviously they're not going to go around selling bombs, but they might be selling like this for mining or something else like that, or selling it to a military. See if we can find any of them.
Spending two threats. A whole slew of lists comes of potential people, but most of them haven't visited this area recently.
As in, someone has, or a few have.
No, there has been no Ferengi traders lately that have visited the area that would sell this sort of device.
Do
So
any of the ones who have not been in the area, do any of them show up as having past runnings with trading in weapons to illegal sources?
There's speculation on a few, but there's been no concrete evidence.
I
sounds like
would.
going ahead.
I'd like to call the planet's representative.
Um, you going back to the ship? Or are you walking to the location?
could call up to the ship and have the
Can I-
ship patch us in to call them.
Yeah, I don't need a face-to-face. Can I just have a chat over comms?
Sure. And Over the comms, you hear the voice of the secretary.
Secretary, do y'all have observation devices that can track who comes and leaves the system?
We have records of all traders and people who entered the system to a degree.
Can you send that information to us? And also, can you include any information from satellites or other observation devices you have? I'm looking for someone who might not have told you that they came here.
Um, I will get with the Minister of Intelligence and have them forward that relative information to you. Is there anything else you need, Captain Elder?
Not at this time. Elder out.
What else are you going to do?
I'm going to do a scan of the area and see if there's any life signs that are trapped underneath rubble.
Reason plus medicine or science. Difficulty of 2.
Well, shoot. This is going to be terrible. Difficulty of 2. For this one, I'm going to spend... Oh, why not? Make it 3 momentum.
3 momentum.
3 momentum.
3.
And I need to reset that.
Wow.
I got it.
You scavenge the debris field and you pick up 2 life signs underneath some rubble.
Okay.
Very faint.
Are they... Oh, go ahead. Never mind.
So I'll go, Captain, we got survivors approximately 20 meters that direction.
I'll run over there. What do we see when we get there?
You run over there, you see a pile of rubble, stone and wood.
Well, I will start trying to remove it.
And I will pocket my tricorder and help him, more like, don't move that one yet.
Give me fitness plus security, difficulty of 2.
Because it sounds fun, I'm going to spend 6 challenge dice of stress for 2 extra dice.
Okay.
And I'll use endurance as a focus.
Sure.
Can I assist with reason engineering?
Under what
That's
grounds?
disappointing.
Under the fact that I'm more
Less
not
digging,
only-
more Jenga.
yeah, less digging, more structural integrity.
That is 8 stress coming
Yeah, you
at
can
you.
take 2. You can take 2 momentum.
Spending 2 momentum or give me 2 threat?
No, I'm spending 2 momentum.
Okay. You
Goes
do
away
get
at the end of the scene, anyways.
you do get a momentum back.
Although it was a very disappointing roll for a roll with a focus and 4 dice.
I will allow the assist with reason engineering.
Okay, thank you.
Huzzah.
Take another momentum. You manage to clear the rubble. Some of the as workers come to help clear the rubble off, they're shocked that you're lifting this heavy boulder by yourself. Like, how is he doing this?
His arm whirring and creaking away.
Uh,
Nuts popping free.
and you manage to get to 2 individuals who are buried in rubble. Appear to be motionless.
Since I seem to be rolling so well, I'd like to do a medical scan on these two to see how serious their injuries are.
I think I'll do that medical roll.
Okay.
Please stand aside, Henson.
Reason plus medicine, difficulty of 2.
I'll give you a threat.
Oh, come on. I know you have physical enhancement too, don't you?
No. I'm just fit.
Okay.
I'm all natural, so.
You said you had a bum hand.
Yeah, it's just a prosthetic.
And there's
Oh.
no advantage to it.
Yeah,
You gotta get the super duper super soldier on.
And yeah, I'm just gonna roll this.
The entire crew have seen far too much combat.
I didn't see combat. A Vulcan crushed my hand. I was trying to give him help.
Oh yeah, mine came from an engineering accident.
Trying to typecast us as war veterans. Jeez, I mean we are, but you know.
The 2 individuals are very weak. They're having severe internal bleeding. Their rib cage seems to be crushed, as well as several broken bones.
Do I think I can stabilize them here, or do I think they need to be at the in the sick bay? Like how much?
They need to be in the hospital or the sick bay.
Captain, these 2 are severely injured, still alive, but they need advanced medical care. They need more advanced medical care. Either they need to be in a hospital immediately, or they need to be in our sick bay. I can't treat them here.
I grab my comm badge and I stick it on one of them, and I kind of point to the other one. Lieutenant, if you would.
I take my comm badge, put it on him,
And I
step
tap
away.
it. Tereshkova to beam up
I was
on
about
my comm badge and Lieutenant Wright's comm badge. Directly to medbay.
Well, that's going to be a control plus engineering, difficulty of 4. So it's by the ship's sensors plus engineering. I don't think you need to give them your comm badge, but I guess that's okay. If you want to flavor it that way.
It deprives you of a reason of making it harder than it already is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't give him the comm badge, so you know.
I mean, I still have threat. I mean,
Yeah. Comm badge
Okay.
explosives. Haha.
So,
yes, difficulty 4, control plus engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
Sensors engineering. I have a ship.
Leva is spending three momentum.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. She
Doctor,
cautious or bold?
Did you beam
Cautious.
back to the ship?
Me? Nobody's contacted me, so I don't even know any of this is happening.
Okay.
He's probably still in triage, running around in the local hospital.
Yeah. You get 2 momentum back.
So I'll hit my comm badge, and because I know that the doctor was on planet earlier before we beam down, and I'll go kill him to the doctor.
Quick here, go ahead.
Okay, you're still on planet. Hey, I'm at the bomb site. We've got 2 survivors that need immediate medical care. We went on ahead and beamed him up to sickbay for you, but you might want to get up there.
Aye, sir. Trek Tereshkova, one to beam up. You, nurse, you take charge here. I have to go back to the ship.
Of course, Doctor.
And I will head up to sickbay.
All right, Doc, you rush straight to sickbay. Two of your medical staff and are already prepping the individuals.
Okay, I'll commence surgery.
We'll just go with there'll be two different roles, one for each. Give me daring plus medicine difficulty of 2 for one of them.
My daring's not that good. Can I use control instead?
You can flavor it the reason why you wish to use control because they need immediate care. Like, what's the process?
He's just very, very precise and punctilious about the way he does things.
I will
daring.
allow it at increased difficulty for the next task.
Because you're taking your time rather than doing it quickly. That's my guess.
If I have to use daring, I'm going to use bold medicine and give you a threat.
All right.
I think can anyone assist the good doctor?
Yes.
I think throw Desmond at you there, Doc, that way, because she has surgery as a focus and emergency medicine.
Yeah, I'm taking emergency medicine as a focus for this.
Yeah.
I believe that'd be.
You're daring.
You have emergency medicine, doctor? Yes, you do. So you actually have a focus, so you have 4. So 3 momentum gained. And then as you stabilize that individual, move on to the next one. So give me another daring plus medicine difficulty 2. With the assist, you got it, but there's a complication on the table. You currently have 5 momentum. Do you wish for the complication to stand, or do you wish to clear it with 2 momentum?
I'll clear it.
All right, you're down to 3 total momentum. Yes, you save both the individuals' lives. The man, they'll recover slowly. They'll require essentially some, more regenerative work to be done, which can be handled by your medical staff. But they're out of the woods from perishing. I don't think you'll notice. It's okay.
Quick to the captain.
Captain here.
My patients are stabilized and recovering. The situation at the hospital is pretty much stabilized. There are no injuries that their staff can't easily handle there. What do you order?
Has anyone seen to the people at the mine or the factory?
Currently, no. Um, but you have not been given coordinates to the beam down sites, to the mines and the factories.
Doctor, if you could aid there, that's a very high priority.
Continue at the hospital.
No, to try to help at the mine and the factory.
Which one, sir? I sent out medical teams to all of the places. Which one do you want me in particular to go to?
I'm gonna correct you there real quick. You've only sent teams to the capital. This is probably my fault for not saying it earlier. They did not give you coordinates to the actual mines and the factories that were actually bombed.
Okay, I'll recall my team from the surface and call up to the bridge and tell them the captain ordered me to report to the factory. I need beaming coordinates. Please transport them to transporter room, whatever.
Levitt to Dr. Crick. I don't have beaming coordinates to either of these locations, sir. And from what I can tell, from whom I've been dealing with getting the coordinates, they're not releasing them.
Well, doesn't this ship have sensors? Use them.
I will pass that information along to the bridge.
Oh, that's who I called directly. I just called the bridge.
Activates one of our science guys, I suppose, to start scanning around.
And I'll go to the transporter room and meet up with my team and wait for the coordinates to come through.
Lenara, maybe? Yeah, because Grosven's on the surface with us. Oh, Lenara, you're not good at scanning stuff. You're actually kind of bad at this. Oh well.
That's why I didn't bring her down.
Yeah, but the other guys, I suppose.
Be reason plus science, difficulty 2, assisted by these ships' sensors plus science.
Let's throw momentum at it.
Really
this is
good.
the first time one of the few times she's been activated, I think. She has. It's her first activation according to the notes. She doesn't get anything yet,
Nope,
I think.
not yet.
It's next time.
We're changing scenes, so you go down 1 momentum.
Okay. Boop. Throwing a momentum at this to buy an extra die. And none of the focus supply, so good luck. Well, she's fired.
Ouch. Yeah, she can't reroll that. Unfortunately, she's not able. To reflect the complications that are currently on the board, there are several mines on the planet's surface. There is a lot of comms traffic dealing with the bombing, and the military is on high alert, and they're positioning rescue teams all over the planet. So it's really difficult to locate the other sites that were bombed. Like almost at the point that unless they give you the coordinates, she's not going to be able to locate it.
Yeah, I think Ensign Lenara is gonna plead to the XO for, can we possibly get these coordinates from the, since I can't pin down exactly where we need to beam. I'm getting If anything, too many results.
All right, while the exo is trying to handle that, go back to the surface. Uh, the four of you are kind of you. Under the rubble, the workers kind of thank you, and they're kind of relieved, and they're really surprised in a way too of what you did. One of the military officers, the one that you kind of dealt with earlier, kind of approaches like, what's going on here? And it's like, oh, Major, these kind guests that they beamed up two of the servants up to their vessel in some sort of strange pattern of lights. It's quite miraculous, but I think they're saving them. I've never. It's quite a wonderful sight to see. We're so grateful that you've asked for their assistance. And he just kind of looks at the workers like, yes, yes, of course. Get back to work. We need to get this site cleared so the investigation teams can work.
These are both soldiers talking.
One is a worker who's kind of in sort of rags, and the other one is, a major dressed in pristine, like, military attire, and his boots are squeaky clean and shiny, like.
Once the officer leaves, and I think he's far enough away, I'll try to talk to the worker.
Okay. The major kind of looks and shrugs and walks back off. Kind of opens his pad and starts, doing something with it, like typing on, some sort of typing.
I kind of reach out a hand. Do you have a name?
Yeah, and but why do you ask for it? Someone sure of your status doesn't need to know my name. I'm just a humble worker, humble servant here.
Well, it seems that I do have an interest in it.
I'm flattered. My name is Brim.
Well, Brim, do you know much about what happened here?
Oh, it's terrible. I was asleep in my quarters, well, my cabin with my family, and we heard the loud explosion yesterday evening. And I work the second shift, but I had taken that evening off, so I was going to work the third shift this later today. But I've been working ever since. But I wasn't present, but the whole city, even the Thal section, the ground shook like an earthquake.
What's the word around here on what could have happened? Anyone have any theories?
I heard some disturbing news that it was someone just walked in and detonated some sort of explosive device. It's terrifying. hard to even comprehend why anyone would want to do that.
Does anyone else seem to have any ideas why someone would want to do that?
I wouldn't know. I all I do is work and try to provide meals for my family.
Yeah, but when you're working, no one else you've worked with has ever had any thoughts on this kind of thing or why someone would do something like this?
No, no, not any of the people I talk to. I mean, there's a bunch of kids that do childish pranks, like graffiti. They're mostly handle. They spend the night in the jail for a few days and they learn their lesson. I can't imagine anyone who would want to commit such actions as these.
If you don't mind me asking, this may seem a little off the wall, but say compared to 30 years ago, do you feel like the average worker has more power now than they did 30 years ago, or do you feel like you have less power than you did 30 years ago?
I mean, feels about the same, at least to me. I don't know what to compare it to. I mean, I've only been doing this job for the past 10 years. I was just a kid during that time, at least.
How does your how do older people feel about it?
Um, Work is work. We all do our part to survive. Um,
Do they feel like the families have more power than they did 30 years ago?
oh, the families have always had power for several millennia.
Have they lost any, or do they still have it?
They still have it, except for the Euro House. They've lost some power and influence. From what my father would tell me, they were. Oh, how do I put this in words? They were the top dog, and they were also the primary reason for the war that ravaged our world for 100 years. Um, till the till the prime minister he put an end to it. Begun the process of unifying the kingdoms. Till then, we've known no war or conflict. It's been a delightful era of peace.
Thank you.
Real quick though, give me. I'll say because you're close proximity, you kind of notice like he has like tattoos on him around his neck area. And you can, from what you can tell, you can see most of the workers as you've kind of looked around. You notice that all of them have similar tattoos.
Am I supposed to roll something?
No, you just that's what you notice.
Do they look anything like the Azure Sky ones?
No, these are in a very distinct pattern. You could give me insight plus con difficulty 2.
I'll just ask him. These signify your rank?
No, they identify my purpose. They have my name and my family, my father. All the Thals have them. If you don't mind, sir, I need to get back to work. I want to be docked pay.
Captain, it may be wise we let this man get to work before we get him in further trouble. We could ask other people of this social group if we need to know more information in general.
All right. What's the name of the house that he told us?
Ural, UIRA.
Do we have coordinates for their estate?
You have not been given coordinates. Like the only coordinates you have are one in the capital city. At various locations that need aid.
Well, I think we need to go visit Madam Secretary again. See if we can't get ourselves and the doctor there some information.
Okay, you find your way as you walk back towards the building. Assuming you're walking there, unless you want to do site to site transport.
We can walk.
All right. You head back that way. You notice that the secretary, she's currently meeting with three other individuals, and she notices you walk. Is like, oh, Captain.
Secretary. I was just coming to see you about some coordinates. Some for the mines and factories that need medical attention, and some for House Uri.
Um, that won't be necessary, Captain.
I don't think I asked if it was necessary. I think I asked
Well,
for the coordinates.
I was going to give you good news that the um, mines, all the people who were trapped inside have been rescued and accounted for, receiving proper medical aid in their province. As for the factories, we managed to, while the casualties were low, but we're thankful that um, all individuals have been recovered. So it's at least good news, and we're distributing medical supplies to those areas as fast as we can. Um, the supplies you've given us have been extremely helpful. We can't thank you enough, Captain. Um, as for why you need coordinates to the Uri Kingdom, I'm sorry, I cannot give that to you, Captain.
Are you legally not allowed to, or?
I am legally not allowed to. The issue is I need to know why you need to head to that kingdom in general. Um, I was told that you were investigating the bomb site. Is there a connection?
There might be.
Oh dear. I'm assuming you have evidence to back this up.
I don't believe the captain made any sort of accusation. We just simply wish to get information from this representative.
And we're holding the evidence close to our chest at this time.
For whatever reason, don't know why you would want to withhold evidence. We've been open for the most part to you, and
One doesn't wish to say aloud things irresponsibly, Secretary. We're trying to be. In Starfleet, we tend to wish to give a full answer rather than speculation. Right now, we have some evidence that we believe may be necessary to know, but spreading it about may be not entirely helpful to you if it turns out to be information that we later find out isn't actually bears out weight. It's
I
more of your consideration than anything.
I assure you, the safety of the people on this planet are my current responsibility. If there is a threat or within that kingdom, I need to know so I can send the proper military response or aid if need be.
I believe at this time we don't have any idea of a imminent threat in that regard. We just believe that this person will have information that will illuminate the investigation more so than you might be able to provide.
Illuminate in such way. I'm sorry, I'm not following here. You
Those are questions I believe we might want to just direct to him, to the representative, rather than speak aloud here. But what I can say, what I believe I can say, is that we are acting in the best interests that we believe we can serve you. Um, and we're just trying to be responsible with the information and not.
um well, I have requested a new representative from the Euro Kingdom. However, because their current representative was killed in the explosion, um, I
Perhaps, if the captain wishes, we could meet this representative in the office you set aside for us.
it will take several days for the new representative to travel here.
Well, we thank you, Secretary, but I think you most likely have other duties to attend to. We will handle this matter on our own. And I'll walk
I'm
away.
sorry, Captain. I know you have fantastic technology that allows you to transport anywhere, as such as many other species that we've encountered so far. I cannot allow you to travel to the other kingdoms without express permission.
I follow after the captain.
So you're walking out.
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
Yep.
Like, Wright stays long enough to let her finish what she's saying out of politeness, and then when she's done talking, she just nods and chases after the captain.
Captain Elder, I am not finished talking here. You cannot go to any of the kingdoms, including the Ura. If you do so,
Excuse
I
me,
will
Secretary.
notify.
I step into her way. I step into her way to block her from chasing after him. I don't believe the captain was saying anything of the sort, and it is irresponsible of you to say such things without sufficient evidence.
Let me be straight and forward here. If you
as she's talking, I'll like turn around, I guess like probably 20 feet away from right now, and I'll ask to be beamed up.
with what cow badge?
Probably Calum's.
Or the science officer with us.
So let's just say the captain nods to Calum. Calum hits his badge and goes,
Yeah.
Calum to the Tereshkova, 3 to beam up.
4.
Well, 4, yeah, 4.
Don't leave me here.
Okay. So yeah, the 4 of you beam up as the secretary is just stunned and outraged as you return to the ship.
Captain, to the doctor.
Good care.
They're stonewalling us on the coordinates for the remaining wounded. You might come meet up with us and we'll see what we can find. We're on the bridge, or we're headed to
Yes,
the bridge.
sir. I've been trying to get the XO to release a shuttle to me so I can check from a lower orbit, but he's refused so far.
We'll work from the bridge to try to figure out what we can. Your assistance will probably be needed.
Aye, sir.
Keep your team on standby, though. That way you can leave as soon as we find it.
Acknowledged.
They shot us?
No, they didn't shoot at, but as you enter the bridge, roller sirens go off, and Captain, two of their vessels have entered close proximity to the Tereshkova.
Weapons powered?
Their shields, I would assume their shields are up, but their weapons aren't powered at the moment. They seem to be in an uncomfortable distance to us.
Maybe we can buy some time. Kayla, would you why don't you take over engineering and run us through separation? XO, if you would like to head to the battle bridge.
Aye, sir.
We're going to puff our cheeks out, so to say.
Captain, I hesitate to remind you, but we were requested to be here, and they aren't subject to Federation jurisdiction. If we push too far, they might just tell us to leave.
I think they've already asked us to leave, but I have an interest in protecting the lives of some of those people on the planet, even if their government doesn't want their lives saved.
I understand, sir, but they have their ways. If we try to bully our way around, they may just stick their feet in the mud and hold their ground. Older cultures like this tend to favor their sovereignty quite strongly. I advise caution, sir.
That's why I won't be using any weapons. We are merely showing our size.
Sir?
Can't exactly use puffed cheeks as weapons now, can you?
Indeed not, sir. She takes her seat.
And Kayla, once you run us through saucer separation, go ahead and increase shields to 110% temporarily, just to show off.
I, sir, want a photon torpedo with that at one of those asteroids over there.
No weapons, Caleb. No weapons. Don't even power the weapons on.
As you're getting ready to do the prep work,
Oh boy, this sounds bad.
Who's hailing us?
the surface.
You can put it on screen.
On the screen appears the secretary. Captain Elder, please do not mind our vessels. They're here to make sure you don't do anything foolish. All we ask of you is to respect our sovereignty. I was told that you have a thing called the Prime Directive. I do not mean to offend you, but if you continue to violate our sovereignty, we will withdraw our trade agreement with the Federation.
Secretary, forgive me, but I don't believe we've done any such thing. You've simply made accusations.
We take these accusations very seriously in the Federation. There is a cooling off period that must occur before you can speak to us again. And I'll close the communication.
Well, that was comfortable.
Sir, do you really think that was wise?
She seems to think that people of rank can make demands of those of lower rank. I am showing her that she is of a lower rank.
Understood. Still want me to run the saucer step?
Make it clean, Ensign.
Well, it never hurts to go through drills.
Okay, this is going to be a control plus con task, difficulty 3, assisted by the ship's structure plus engineering.
Structure engineer.
You said control con?
Yes, it is. Control con.
Oh,
Difficulty 3.
boy. Calum gets his old seat back for a second.
Or you could just have Teaks.
Yeah, you could just do that, because my control con is not what it used to be.
You can assist him. You know, give him some pointers.
I don't see why not. Be like, watch those mag couplings.
Yeah. Especially since you were told to make it clean. It's like, I'll personally make sure that the flight guy does this right. So I don't get yelled at later.
This will be an insight plus engineering for you for the assist.
Okay, insight
well.
engineering assist. That'll work. Wait for you to make the roll first.
Do you want to get the ship or the pilot there, Cap?
I'll get the ship.
Okay. I'll dig for the pilot. Where are you, Teeks? There you are. Control con. Helm operations. I think he's going to spend at least one momentum to get an extra die because he's cautious. And now everyone on the bridge is paying really close
Go ahead and
attention.
just spend his determination. He's not going to use it for the rest of the episode.
Maybe he will. Well, it's I do what I must to defend the crew or ship, or danger doesn't deter me. I don't know how those apply.
Danger doesn't deter me. They're the ones who have started putting military ships out there, and we're deliberately puffing our cheeks up, making ourselves look stronger. So,
GM?
in a sense, we're telling them that he is helping us tell them that we do not fear them.
Okay.
Plus, if he goofs us up, he's gonna make us look bad and put a lot of people in danger.
Well, I am taking a threat for the use of determination.
I mean, sure.
One momentum gained. 2 and 3. The Tereshkova successfully separates and is currently doing a formation with the other two vessels.
Put out a open a audio only channel with the ships.
Channel open.
This is Captain John Elder of the USS Tereshkova. Stand down and return to base. You have entered a threatening stance towards a ship of the Federation. And I'll close the channel.
Give me
Signal to the
presence.
bridge.
Bridge here.
What's going on, sir? Why have we separated? Is the ship under attack? Should I prep for casualty?
I don't think there will be any casualties. We're running up the colors. But that's about as far as we intend to go.
Aye, sir. And I'll start prepping for casualties.
All right. So Captain, on the view screen, you notice that the ships haven't really turned, but they've backed off a little bit.
They've backed off how much?
A little bit. They've kind of went into a little bit longer range, but they're still within striking distance.
Well, then again, if you're within the same star system, you're within striking distance, space combat being what it is.
Yeah. But they're still kind of holding a pattern near you.
Well, it's symbolic, if nothing else, sir.
Yeah, let's start scanning, see what we can find. Let's see if we can match any of the known trading vessels that have come, especially Federation trading vessels, to see if they've actually gone to this kingdom or dealt with them personally. They might have locations, especially if they had to drop off trade goods.
Might I recommend we have Lieutenant Grosden take care of that?
That sounds like a good idea.
Shoo. You're bad at your job.
Give me a reason plus science difficulty of 1. Assisted by
Sensor
the
operations
ship's
focus?
sensors. Yeah, sensor operations for focus. Assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Spend a momentum. Someone can do the pleasure of getting the ship for me.
What's the roll?
Sensor science.
Three momentum gained. There are currently no other vessels in the area besides Tereshkova and currently the inhabitants.
Wait, why are we scanning for ships?
Weren't you looking to see what ships were coming and had come and gone to the?
Yeah, but in like our logs, like,
Oh,
as in merchant vessels are required to keep logs.
Oh,
yeah, that's a different roll. That would be. We'll take the same roll. I'll let it see because the computers, but yeah, it's fine. So yeah, the logs show like there hasn't really been any ship traffic in the past few weeks. Mostly the merchant vessels are of Cardassian in nature. The last Ferengi trader that entered the system was like 8 months ago.
Are there any clues in that data as to where House Uri is? Like anyone's dropped off material there or done trade deals with them?
No. All trade deals from the logs are done through the capital.
I guess we can see if we can scan the surface for the 5 largest buildings outside of the capital.
Sir, what if we scanned for the material that you found at the bomb site? That probably would stand out amongst anything else.
Caleb, can you do that?
I'm sorry. Do what you out on my.
Can you help Gorzen search for the material you found?
Yeah, sure.
That so you give Gorzen the fragments you found, at least the radiation signature you picked up earlier. Give me a reason plus science and difficulty 1 assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Reason plus science difficulty 1.
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay, give me 1 momentum.
Grosden assist him with that?
I think Grosnin is making the roll.
I think Kayla made the roll.
Yeah,
Oh.
I thought it was me. Oops.
You gain 1 momentum. I'll just post it in the general chat here. Not general chat, but the Tereshkova chat.
This creature first habited, but there appears to be something in the room.
Okay. Well, now we definitely have to go speak to the Yaira, however you say that, kingdom.
Does this constitute as more evidence that's a lot more solid than what we had earlier?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, yeah. So, I mean, there's trace amounts of the.
With our free question from the ship, could we determine exactly where those fragments are? Like right down to the building? So we have the whatchamacallit. Or do we have that? Am I full of crap? Oh, high resolution sensors.
You get a bonus question when you use that.
Yeah.
You estimate that the fragments could have came from within the the ruins of the settlement in that region. Um, Currently, there are no life signs that the sensors pick up in that settlement, but radiation levels are significantly high there, indicating that an atomic blast approximately around 20 years ago.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Captain and Ensign. It sounds like that the primary explosive was procured off world, and then they filled some of it with these trace elements as a sort of shrapnel.
It's very possible. does seem, but we currently can't find those roads.
I beg your pardon, sir?
We have sufficient data to leverage the Uri into at least helping us, if not finding out that they're the ones who perpetrated this. But we have no idea where they are.
Well, earlier, as I said, sir, this evidence is a lot heavier than what we had before. We might be able to get the Secretary's assistance now. I think our withholding of the information is what made her shut us out in the first place. But now that we have something substantial, she may feel compelled to do something about it out of a sense of civic duty.
We can try. I was afraid of doing this around the first time around because what would stop her from just having them destroy any evidence? She's probably, I mean, they're pretty powerful.
We could possibly engage her in a private conference and try to make sure that she cooperates with us. With the right negotiations, we may be able to convince her over to our side. Because when it comes down to it, sir, we don't have the authority to go over her head. Prime Directive starts kicking in at some point where we can't, if we push at any point, if they tell us to just leave, we have to. But if we can get her to cooperate with us, and tell her that we're here to help make her job easier and secure her kingdom, or secure the kingdoms, I should say, then she might be very willing to do that. One kingdom, one house out of 5 is not as important as, say, someone of the other ministries or other kingdoms. Otherwise, if there was another person we could consult, I would suggest that. But short of talking to maybe the prime minister, I don't know how we're going to get in more leverage than we already have. Not with the information we have now, anyway.
All right, let's recombine the ship and have her beamed into the conference room.
Very good, sir.
So, you're going to do a site-to-site transport? Just beam her off?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, Captain, perhaps we wish to invite her over rather than kidnapping a member of government.
All right, inform her that we wish to have her board the Tereshkova so she can view the evidence against House Uri.
um, very well, sir. Could someone put me in contact with the secretary, please? As she stands up, looks kind of uncomfortable at the moment.
you hail the surface. A few moments. It pass, like, uncomfortably a few moments.
Yep, these are very nice shoes I have on.
And eventually on screen appears the secretary. How can I help
Hello.
you?
Yes, Secretary. We met before, of course, Lieutenant Wright. My captain wishes to invite you aboard our ship to discuss the evidence that we've gathered and to share with you the entirety of our findings. We have very comfortable uh, meeting area, diplomatic suites aboard our ship that we believe will not only conduct ourselves in a peaceable manner, but also in a secure manner that will satisfy both, I believe, yourself and the captain.
Spinning two threat. Under normal circumstances, I would be happy to board your vessel and take a tour of it. Unfortunately, I am far too busy to indulge in such luxury adventures. Um, if there is evidence, you can transmit the evidence down here to the surface, and I'll be more than happy to review it and get back in touch with you.
I assure you, Secretary, that this is not mere luxury, it is also for security purposes. We believe the information is rather sensitive, and we believe the safest way to transmit that to you is in a face to face presentation aboard our ship. And I assure you that various Starfleet regulations and protocols uh, have very strict guidelines. We will make sure not to waste your time or to use more of it than is necessary. As we have come into recent evidence that we think is great important to you, the captain has suggested that we contact you as soon as possible.
You say you gathered evidence using your advanced technology, but
Mm.
we're conducting our own investigation. I'm sure that our evidence will point us in the right direction. Your assistance for aid is no longer needed. We will be dropping the state of emergency momentarily. Have a pleasant day and safe travels. And the communication goes blank. Well, screen goes blank. Turns to the star field.
We are left with but one option, Captain, or two: either leave or we have to go down there to present the evidence. Since she seems rather intransient in her opinion and unbending to her any diplomatic contact.
Well, I think we could take the ship into a low orbit over the Uri Kingdom and look for what is presumably their capital, because we could probably find the tallest building.
Your senses already picked that up.
Yeah, we can go there.
From where the ruined cities are, on there about 150 kilometers west is the capital city of the Uri Kingdom. And a Duan mining outpost for ore it's being traded. The Kendall line is 25 kilometers south of the ruined settlement.
So, sir, you're ordering us to enter low orbit over that area? Captain?
I'm not sure. I kind of see two issues. One is I'm not entirely concerned with the government of a state that imposes practical slavery cares. So I am interested in finding the killers, especially the killers of those people we met down in the cafe. But also, I put all of y'all's livelihoods at risk by asking you to do that. The other option is I can just accept at face value that the secretary will help us. But I don't think her entire concerns are with finding the truth.
I do very much wish to help these people, sir, of course, but I don't know how much ground we have left before eventually they start demanding we leave the system. Already they seem rather hostile since we're not playing by their rules, as it were. Point of fact, even if we find the evidence we need, it seems to me that they might shut us out as troublemakers and rabble rousers rather than people who are here to help them. There's only so much we can impose the will of the ship upon a planet that isn't a Federation member. If it was a Federation world, maybe we could start pulling rank, as it were, and imposing certain
If it
Starfleet
was
laws.
a
But
Federation world, they wouldn't have feudal serfdom in place. Caleb, do you think you could get access to their communications network?
With their level of technology, possibly.
Maybe we just send a message and leave. Tell the people why we're leaving. Maybe they'll be able to ask us back in 10 or 15 years when they have more power. And we can help them again.
I just sits in her chair and just stays quiet. Like
Go for it, Caleb.
So you're
Aye, sir.
so you're going to hack their communication grid and send a message.
Yeah. Or at least try to.
Your difficulty is 3.
I'm guessing control engineering.
Yes, this control engineering assisted by the ship's communications plus engineering.
Okay. Difficulty 3. We've got 3 momentum on the table, right?
Do you need a determination?
Oh no, I do have determination.
There's like 5 momentum on the table.
Oh.
Yeah, spend it all.
Okay, yeah, good grief. I'm trying to remember my values right now because my roll 20 decided to
Oh, I'll read
refresh
them
on
off
me.
for you real quick. Let me navigate over there. We got Bajors for Bajorans. We got precision is not always necessary. Not everything is covered in the handbook, and overcoming Michelson. I'm guessing not everything is covered in the handbook.
I'll take not everything's covered in the handbook.
Okay, and then I will go on ahead and buy 2 more dice.
Although I think Bajor for Bajorans under a certain light could be applied here.
Rolling in Discord. I think I did that right. Yeah. Oh, that's 3 more successes on top of the 2, so because my control engineering is 17.
2 momentum, so you gain access. You break through the signal jamming that's currently going on. And you gain access to their communications network.
I've got access, sir.
Well, Caleb, would you like to give me a one-way hail to everyone?
Sure. Why not? Punches up a all channel.
Okay.
You're on, Captain.
Hello, people of the TASIS system. This is Captain John Elder of the USS Tereshkova from the United Federation of Planets. I came here today to help ease suffering on your planet, and through great effort and some very useful assistance from people on the ground on the planet, we were able to help many people in the capital. Unfortunately, the government stopped us from helping anyone outside of the capital. They've also blocked our efforts in trying to bring the people who've done this to justice. In general, they've made it clear that the status quo must be maintained over justice. And so we are sad, but we have to leave your planet for now. But we do hope to return someday. Captain Elder out. Helm, if you would take us out of the system.
Sir, I hate to remind you, but we still have personnel on the.
Right. Caleb, would you coordinate the beaming up of those people?
Those current individuals are not where they're supposed to be. And
Well, they
for
have comm
that-
badges.
Even if so, they're the only people not of that species, so they shouldn't be difficult to pick up.
True.
We could just start beaming up all 9 Drakels.
Oh, give me control engineering. We'll do this one task. Difficulty of 4. by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
I didn't hear the difficulty.
Difficulty is 4.
I'm gonna give Leva my determination.
Something tells me she has a value for this. Do Leva. Oop. Well, you got her. Never mind. Or you don't. Oh, you're doing a bet check. No one gets left behind as a value.
Sure.
Since somebody was going to leave everyone behind. Not going to say who. Focus in transporters, of course. Spend at least 1 momentum for an extra die. 2 momentum for, because determination's a thing. And give you some threat for the 1 more die. And control engineering, bang. Plus the ship.
2 momentum gained. The rest of the crew members on the planet surface have been beamed back aboard.
Well, Helm, take us out of here.
Sir, you may wish to inform the doctor about our actions. He may not be. He hasn't been briefed on what we've been up to the last few minutes. Last he heard,
Also, you probably don't want to leave the saucer section behind.
I already asked Kit. Yeah, I don't think we had a role for it, but we asked for it a while back. Did we rejoin Prax, or do we need to make a roll for that?
Yeah, he could just spend a momentum and say it happened.
Okay. Captain to the doctor.
Crick here.
We weren't able to work with the planet's surface. We are going to have to leave the system.
Aye, Captain.
Good job on the rest of the work, though.
Thank you, sir.
Doctor, do we still have their people aboard?
Yes, I'm afraid we do, and they're not ready to be discharged yet.
Right, just puts her hand up to her face, just rubs it like.
They took serious thoracic injuries. I won't be able to discharge them for 2 or 3 days, at least.
Captain, we may wish to request either to continue treatment of their persons, or they may request their people back.
We'll return to drop their people off in a couple of days.
Captain, this could constitute as kidnapping. We can't do that, sir.
Well, their lives are at stake, so I'm not really ready to beam them down. And,
Captain, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a wide beam transmission coming from the surface. I believe it's from the Ura Kingdom.
on screen.
Monkey see, monkey do.
It's on audio only, Captain.
Okay, pipe it over the bridge.
This is Lady Karina of the House of Ura. Please, anyone, come to our aid. The capital, they've begun siege on our humble nation again. They have taken many of my people hostage. Please, anyone out there, please come to our aid. And then the transmission is cut. And with that, I think we'll to be continued.
You know,